Hey everyone, welcome back to my Stenohood. Have you ever felt like you've been stuck in a speed for way too long? Well, if you do, I have a few tips that are gonna help you get out of that speed. So the first thing you need to do is change that perspective. We've heard this from so many people, Lady Steno, Laura Axelson, your teachers. Everybody tells you that there's no such thing. There's no such thing as being stuck in a speed. So the first thing you need to do is really accept and believe that it's not a thing. You don't get stuck in a speed. What you need to start believing is that you're probably getting bored and you're not practicing enough, or you're practicing the same things over and over and over. So you're not really growing. And that's how you need to change your perspective. You need to change it to start thinking, I'm not stuck in a speed, I'm just not growing. And what do we need to do in order to grow? You need to change things up. So that's my biggest tip, is you need to change the routine. It's so easy to practice for hours and hours and hours on the material that you love. For example, a lot of people love jury charge, so they'll just spend 100 hours on jury charge. Or some people love literary, some people love Q&A. Whatever it is that you love to practice, you need to spend less time practicing that. Your body is getting used to it. Your brain is getting used to it. You need to spark up some change. So how do you do that? Pick something different. Pick something that you think is difficult, something that when you look at it, you're like, oh, I don't want to practice that. Start practicing that. You need to start practicing something that you don't really like, because that's the only way you're going to trigger your brain again. You're going to trigger your mind, and it's going to get activated and start learning again and start growing and start challenging yourself. So the first thing you need to do, change your perspective. Remember, you don't get stuck. You're just stagnant in terms of growing. So you need to remember that you need to find ways to grow your learning. The next thing you need to do is change up your routine. So I used to practice a lot of hard copy, and it's good for my eyes, but in Steno, we're not writing based on what we see. We're writing based on what we hear. So what I started doing is I started just listening to so much dictation and practice based off of what I'm listening to, not what I'm seeing. So those are some of the changes that I've made. Another thing that I incorporated was finger drills. So I had a list of finger drills from the Lady Steno Speed Clinic, and those were a little bit intimidating and those were a little bit challenging for me. So I kind of put them to the side. But now I realize that dexterity has a lot to do with your speed. You might be able to remember the word, your fingers may want to press on those keys, but if you haven't practiced the dexterity, it's gonna hold you back. So I've been implementing a lot of finger drills, and now I know how to make my own finger drills based on the words that I'm hesitating on. So make sure that when you're doing dictation, you have a list on the side and you're writing down your hesitation words. Based on those hesitation words, there's finger combinations that you're probably hesitating on or you're struggling with, and that's where finger drills come in handy. So I've started to implement my own finger drills, which have been helping a lot with dexterity. My fingers aren't scared to move in that certain way. So you have to retrain your fingers and your mind all together. So another thing you have to incorporate is you have to make it fun. Try to challenge yourself by creating briefs on your own, creating briefs on the fly. So now I've been doing that, and it's kind of fun. It's like, oh, how can I shorten that word? Can I make that word into a brief? Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Maybe I'll go to online resources to find a brief, or my teacher, etc. But at least it keeps my brain thinking, it keeps my brain working and moving. And if I create my own briefs, it's more likely that I'm gonna remember those briefs as opposed to a brief that somebody else gives me or that I find online. So for some words, I'll be able to start creating a brief, and it's been making that a lot more fun. So I look forward to practicing. I look forward to my routine other than just listening, writing down hesitation words, looking for a brief, remembering that brief, practicing that brief. Like, you have to change your routine. Only you know what works for you. Only I know what works for me. But the point here is that you need to change your routine, or else your brain is going to get bored, you're going to get bored, you're going to stop learning, and that's why you're stuck in a speed. It's not because you're stuck, it's because you're not challenging yourself to continue growing and continue learning. So that was just a brief chat about why some people think they're stuck in a speed. If you've been stuck in a speed for way too long, let me know in the comments below what you're gonna do today to change your routine. But first of all, change your perspective. You're not stuck. You just have to change it up and challenge yourself and continue growing. I hope this helped. I love talking to you guys in the comments below. I really enjoy seeing where you are in your own journey, and I love sharing tips that have helped me throughout my journey. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.